Hello and welcome back to Runtime HRMS. In today's video, we will see how you can use Self Onboarding feature to onboard your new employees. So before we get into the actual implementation, let's review the workflow of Self Onboarding. Here is a workflow. As you can see, the first step is you create an onboarding form and that is sent to the new hire. Now, since the new hire is not part of your organization, you have to send it through an email or SMS. Runtime HRMS automatically takes care of sending an email and SMS with the link to the new onboarding form. Now, once the employee or the new hire receives this form, they have to submit it. They do not require any username or password to submit the form. They can simply open the link which is sent in the email and SMS to do the submission. Once the form is submitted, it comes back to you and you can review the form. If the employee has filled up all the information that is needed, you can approve the form, and if you approve it, it becomes an employee record. But during your submission review, if you notice any incomplete or errors in the form, you can send it back to the employee. The employee will again receive it as an email or SMS that the form is not complete, and they can submit it again. So that is how the employee onboarding workflow works. Now we will actually see how to create a form and follow through all the steps of the workflow. To create a new form, go to onboarding and click on onboarding forms. This feature is available in the professional plan only. So in case you are subscribed to the basic plan, you may not be able to use this feature. Now on this page you will see the forms that you have already created, but we will start by creating a new form. So to create a new form, click on add new. On this page you have to enter some basic information about the employee which you are adding. So you can see there are some mandatory fields and some optional fields. So let's start by typing the mandatory information for the employee. You need to select the date of joining, suppose 1st of July, and you can also select the date of birth. Now this date of birth can be changed by the employee because this is not the final record that is saved in the employee master. So let's put 1995 and July 1st. You can select the gender of the employee, and these location, cost center, departments are coming from your masters, so you can select at which location you are hiring this particular employee. Let's say marketing, and designation is process developer, and work shift is day shift. So we have selected these masters. This will help in creating the work profile of the employee. Now you can set an expiry date of this form. If you set a date, this form will not be accessible to the employee after this date, so they will not be able to submit it. But in case you do not want to set an expiry, you can simply uncheck this checkbox. To send this form by email, click on send email and type in the email address of the employee. For example, I am typing the company email address so that I can show you the actual email that comes in from the Runtime HRMS portal. Optionally, you can also add a mobile number of the employee and send the form link by SMS also. So let's skip it for now. Then you can also send an offer letter along with this onboarding form. So to do that, what you need to do is check send offer letter. Select the letter from the HR letter templates that you have saved. See our HR letters video for more information about how to create HR letters and how to generate them. So let's say I will select offer letter new. That's the template I want to send because this is an offer letter. So you will see all the templates here, but you need to carefully select only the offer letter. Now, if you have selected an offer letter, you also need to select the salary structure. Salary structure will basically create the annexure of the salary in the offer letter because it's a new hire. So we need to have a salary structure in place which will define the employee salary. Also, you can select whether ESI, PF, professional tax is deductible for this employee. That will also help in generating the salary structure with all the statutory deductions. Now we have created the form and we can generate it. So this form is generated and you receive a unique link with which you can open the form. Basically the employee will open the form, but you also get the link to see how it appears. Now before we open the form, we need to see that we can also configure the form how it should appear to the employee. I mean to say that you can also select what all information is to be filled in by the employee, what will be the mandatory information, what will be the optional information, and what all fields you want to show to the employee. So before we open this form and fill it, let's go to the setup and see how you can configure the onboarding form. So we'll go to setup and we'll click on self onboarding. Now on this page you will see there are multiple sections like contact details, personal information, present address, and there are fields within each section. You have two options, show and mandatory. So if you select show on a particular field, that will appear in the onboarding form, and if you select mandatory, then the field will become mandatory in the onboarding form. So when you get started first time with this particular setup, you will see some options selected by default which are system generated, but you can always configure this form to select what fields you want to collect from the employee and what you do not want to collect. So as you can see, in each section we have selected some fields, like in contact we have email address, mobile number, emergency number, but we have not selected home phone. Similarly, in personal information we have date of birth, passport number, blood group, Aadhaar number, but we have not selected driving license. So that way you can customize what information you want to collect from the employee. Now let's go back to the onboarding forms, and this is the form that we just created, and this is the link to access it. Now let's understand this form from employee's point of view. So the employee who is going to fill this form, how will it look like to him and how will he fill it? See the form from employee's perspective, simply click on this link and you will see how the employee will see the form. Now this is a very simple interface so that employee does not get confused. We have laid out every section separately so that employee is very clear what he is going to do. First of all, he'll see his basic information like name, date of joining, designation for which he is being hired, and the location on which he is hired. Now if you have selected an offer letter in the form like we did, the employee will receive an email with a link to this form as well as the offer letter attached to that email. So we will see that email after we have seen this form, that what language is received in the email and how the offer letter looks like when it is attached to the email. Now in order to continue with this form, let's verify this information and continue. This is the first section. So this is the first section from the fields that we have selected in the contact details section in the setup page. Now these two fields are mandatory. So suppose if I do not fill in the mobile number and try to continue, it will show me that mobile number is required. So the employee has to fill in the mobile number. Emergency contact is optional, but still if the employee wants, they can fill it. This is a text field, so they can put anything, like they can put father's name and the mobile number of father or any other person name whom they think should be contacted in case of emergency. Now if we continue, we will go to the second step, which is personal information. Now you will notice none of the fields are mandatory over here, but still if you want, you can fill this information. So date of birth is something that is appearing what we selected on the hiring onboarding form page, but the employee can always change this date, so they can actually select the real date here. Passport number, let's fill in. Blood group and Aadhaar number. So let's skip the Aadhaar number and continue. Present address. So again you can fill in the present address. Now the next section is permanent address. Let's try to skip this because none of the fields are mandatory. Bank account detail. Usually bank account detail should be made mandatory because these will be required when you will transfer the salary to the employee. So let's fill in. Income tax PAN number. I'm just making up these numbers, so these are not actually any real numbers. Family information, marital status, single or married. The employee can select that, and then they can also put their father name and mother name. Now the third section is the eighth section is documents. Here you will have a photo, Aadhaar card and PAN card. So this is based on the fields that we have selected. Let's quickly go back to the setup page and go to self onboarding. So if you scroll down, you will see that this is the document section. We have selected photo, Aadhaar card and PAN card over here, and all these fields are showing up. Now the photo that will be selected here will be considered as the profile photo of the employee. It will not appear in the employee documents, and these two documents or anything else will appear as a document of the employee. Now let's select a photo just in case we can see how the photo looks like when the employee has submitted the form. Okay, so I'll select a photograph from a sample image. Then for Aadhaar card, let's select a sample PDF file, and let's leave the PAN card and continue. So after the 8th step, all the fields are completed and this confirmation dialog will appear. You are almost done. Click finish to submit or cancel to go back and make changes. So at this stage, employee can either finish the form or he can cancel, then go back and change the details and submit again. So at this stage, it is not submitted unless you click the finish. So since we have completed all the details, we can finish this form. And this is the confirmation box. So form submitted, and the employee get a unique reference number, so they can use this reference number to quote their onboarding form. And what you can do is, suppose the employee replies back with this unique number, you can simply go to the onboarding forms and you can search this number over here. So by searching this number, you can identify which form was it. Now the second step is, after the employee has submitted the form, you can see that the status has changed to submitted, and it also shows you when is the last date when the form was opened by the employee. So we can simply click here and go to view. Now you can see that the profile picture that employee selected is now appearing as the profile picture. These are the details which you already submitted, because these are the mandatory information submitted while creating the form. And then on the right side, you will see the information submitted by the employee, like date of birth, email address, mobile number, emergency contact details, so personal information. Then you have present address, permanent address. So if you notice that we only filled out the present address, not the permanent address. Then you have the bank account details, statutory information, family information, and the documents. Now you can note one thing, that over here also only those fields are appearing which were selected in the form. So in case you have not selected any field and the employee has not submitted that information, it won't show here. Now going back to our initial workflow, we have completed 3 steps. We have created a form, we have sent the form to the employee, and the employee has submitted the form back to us. Now we have 2 different actions that we can take here. First is approve request. So if you think all the information submitted by the employee is okay, and you can go ahead and approve the request to create the employee, so you simply need to click here and put some comments. Thereafter you have 2 options: send mobile login details, send web login details. What it will do is, the employee record will be created and employee will receive an SMS on their mobile with the link to download Runtime Workman, which is our mobile self-service app for employees, and they will also get the details to log into the application, which consists of username and password. If you click on send mobile web login details also, the employee will also receive a login link to access the Runtime Connect portal. That is our web-based portal for employee self-service. That portal is also available in the professional plan only. So if you check both these options, the employee will receive details for logging onto the web as well as on the mobile. But suppose you do not want to approve the form and you think there are some mistakes, you can simply send this request back to the employee. Now you can put the comments here. Please add whatever you feel like there is a mistake in the form, or you want to notify the employee that what they have not completed and it is required. For example, they have not uploaded any document, so you can put that description here, and you can check notify by email, notify by SMS. So employee will receive an email notification that the form has been sent back, and they will also receive these remarks so that they know what is the mistake and they can submit it again. So to send back, click send back. Otherwise, the last option is to reject the request. So suppose this onboarding never happened and the employee never joined, so they have not provided some kind of a document you were looking for, or you found that the employee has declined the offer letter, or anything else by which the employee is not going to join the company, then you can simply go to reject request and put your comments here. Employee has not accepted the offer, and you can reject this form. So after rejecting, the form will be deleted. All the data that is saved submitted by the employee will also be deleted. Documents will also be deleted. So those are the 3 actions you can take here. Now in order to complete this form, let's approve it and see how it appears in the all employees list. I'm saying OK to add, and let's uncheck this because all the details are not live, so no point in sending these login details. Now since I approved it, it will disappear from this list, but still if you want to see the onboarding form, you can go to closed forms and see the list of all the onboarding forms which were previously approved. So this is the latest one, and even after approval you can still see the form. You can see what all details were originally submitted by the employee, and there will be no more actions available, but you can still see that the original submission was done by the employee. And now if I go to all employees section, I should be able to see this new employee. So see here, we have got a new employee with the employee picture. All the details that were submitted by the employee like this are appearing here, and then you can update it further. If you want to add anything else, you can do it. Like permanent address is missing, so you can update it. Personal details, you can update other information which is available with you, and these are not mandatory fields, so you can update as and when you want. Similarly, salary details need to be updated here. Documents, if you want to add additional documents, you can upload here. So that way you can create an employee just by sending an onboarding form and accepting all the inputs from the employee without having to fill up all the information yourself. Let us also see how the email appears to the employee when they receive the onboarding form. So here is the email that we just sent by creating this onboarding form. So this is how the employee will receive the email, and they will have the link in it, and will also have the company name. So whatever company name you have defined in settings, that will appear, and then there will be an attachment for the offer letter. So this offer letter basically depends on the template that you have defined, and it will contain all the text of the letter as well as the salary annexure. So you can simply generate a offer letter template from your own list of templates to see how it looks like. In this particular case, we have not formatted this template a lot, but it just shows you how the letter is generated. So for example, if I open the PDF, this is the letter. We do not have headers and footers here, otherwise it should look more beautiful, in the sense it should have your company name on the left and logo on the right. So that is how you configure the letter, but this configuration is not done in it, so it is appearing in a very basic format. Now you can see these are the terms of the offer which we have put in the template, and then we have an annexure, salary annexure, where this salary annexure is created based on the salary structure that we have selected. And since we also selected PF deduction, so since PF is applicable in this case, it is deducting certain amount, and then the net CTC is being generated over here. ESI is not applicable, that's why ESI is not appearing over here. So that's how you can create any custom format for the template, and it will appear and will be sent to the employee automatically. So this saves a lot of time at your end as an HR manager, and it distributes the work for the new hires. It also puts a great impression on the new hires because they know you are following such an advanced functionality and advanced system for onboarding the new employees. So that way it puts a very good impression on the new hires about your company, about your organization. That's all for this. Keep watching more videos to know about more features of Runtime HRMS. Thanks a lot.